Good evening and welcome to NNX, NNN's news show to give you campus news faster than you can eat a bowl of mac and cheese. I'm Gabrielle Coriati.
And I'm Diego Ramos. Tonight, we'll talk about the school's iconic rock and how it was defaced this past weekend.
Plus, Evanston artists tackling racial justice.
What you can do with your leftover Halloween pumpkins.
And who is Willie the Wildcat, really?
So grab your mac and cheese and let's jump right into tonight's stories.
Our top story tonight: this weekend, an act of hate shaking the Northwestern community. The rock, a symbol of Northwestern, defaced with racist and anti-Indigenous statements. This comes after the rock was painted by the Native American and Indigenous Student Alliance, or NASA, for Native American Heritage Month. NASA painting images to bring awareness to missing and murdered Indigenous women and thousands of Indigenous children found in unmarked graves near U.S. Indian boarding and residential schools. But words originally reading, quote, "Bring our children home," were covered and replaced with racist statements.
A lot of us weren't very surprised, but we were all very hurt.
Kayla Nichols joins us now from in front of the rock. Kayla, do you have any updates for us?
Yes, I do. On Sunday, NASA decided not to repaint the rock, but since then the university has repainted the bench area here, where several students have come by to share messages of support, including "We stand with you" and "You are not alone." And the Dean of Students has also told me that she will be reviewing any footage in the area to see if she can identify those who painted the racist language here. Reporting live at the Rock for NNX, I'm Kayla Nichols. Back to you, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Kayla. NASA posted a statement on their Instagram yesterday condemning what happened at the Rock and speaking about the current climate on campus, one where Indigenous voices are silenced. In the statement, NASA also asking university leadership to acknowledge the vandalism and take decisive actions to make Northwestern a welcoming institution for Black and Indigenous students of color.
Educating themselves, getting themselves involved in those events, engaging in those resources is probably the biggest thing that people can be doing right now.
The Center for Native American and Indigenous Research hosting an affinity space Sunday night for Native American and Indigenous students. They were later joined at the Rock by their peers who stood with them in solidarity.
A year of racial turmoil and long-standing issues coming to light. Now, Evanston artists advocate in their own way, through art.
What is racial justice? This was the question Evanston artist Fran Joy set out to answer through art.
My work as an artist has been an advocate for social justice.
The Noyes Art Gallery features 25 Evanston artists aged 16 to 70. They come from different backgrounds, but they all work together to define racial justice. Joy says portraying racial justice through art is a good outlet because
it addresses trauma, it addresses PTSD, it addresses the nature of the world today because this is a really difficult racial climate.
Some artists, like Deborah Salter, focus on how, quote, "the justice system does not serve minorities." And Claudia Martyr's art depicts Simone Biles' success while addressing the racism that comes with, quote, "being at the top." Joy, the organizer for the What is Racial Justice exhibit, said that the thriving art community in Evanston is special because
all of these disconnected groups, you get a bunch of people in the room that are all artists, and there's no disconnection.
Moving forward, Joy hopes that the art exhibit will bring the Evanston community one step closer to achieving racial justice. Shining a light with one piece of artwork at a time, Julia Narvaez Munguia, Northwestern News Network.
The Noyes Cultural Arts Center's second-floor gallery will remain open to the public until December 1st. Gabby?
Thanks, Diego. Now more from our Evanston community. We know pumpkins are a popular Halloween decoration, but they often end up going to waste after the festivities end. Compost Initiatives in Evanston keeping leftover decorations out of the landfills. The 5th annual Great Pumpkin Compost was on Saturday, where Evanston residents could gather to get rid of their waste. Organizers say they compost anywhere from 3 to 5 tons worth of pumpkins every year.
Food scraps is just another one of those waste streams, like your plastic bottles and such, recycling.
And Logan Schijano, who attended the Great Pumpkin Compost, joins us now in the studio. Logan, thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit more about the compost initiatives underway in Evanston?
Thanks, Gabby. Well, this week I had the chance to learn about 3 compost initiatives that are going on in the greater Evanston area. The first is Cookies for Compost, which is a really fun way to make composting more accessible to Evanston residents. Evanston, a senior, Maya Rotan, came up with this program. She founded it, and it allows Evanstonians to drop off their compost at the Robert Crown Center, and in exchange they get free Insomnia cookies. Now the next initiative, which is really a much broader one, is Collective Resource Compost, which is a service founded by Evanstonian Arlene Howard. It services about 900 residents and businesses across the Chicagoland area. Basically how it works is people put their compost outside their homes, and the people from Collective Resource come pick it up and drop off a new container where they can replace and put new food scraps in for the next week. And finally, we have the Great Pumpkin Compost, which Gabby, you touched on earlier. It happens on Saturday, and it's the 5th year that it's happening in Evanston, where people can drop off their pumpkins and compost them instead of throwing them in the landfill. Back to you.
Thanks, Logan. Composting is also in full swing on Northwestern's campus, with roughly 20 tons of compost a week.
Willie the Wildcat is the face of school spirit here at NU. We've all seen him around campus and at the games, but who is inside the suit? Spirit Squad tryouts were last night. Tryout attendees participated in a number of activities, including practicing the Willie walk and doing improv exercises. Some students who tried out expected the process to be more athletics-based and were surprised when that was not the case.
It was more actually like mascot vibes. It was like they give scenarios about how, like, what would you do in this scenario, and yeah, so it was cool to kind of just practice being a mascot.
But being part of the Spirit Squad is not all fun and games. It takes commitment, including being willing to travel to away games.
For sure, I like to travel to away football games. So like every time we play, our football team plays away, our mascot and our cheer team go. So like I've been on like 2 charter flights. I went to Nebraska, I went to Michigan.
Willie and the Spirit Squad will be at all home basketball games this upcoming quarter, so look out for them. So, you know, Gabby, it's really interesting because I was actually almost recruited to be Willie the Wildcat back at Norris at night.
What exactly did that mean for you?
So it was really funny. I was about to leave. I was taking a few selfies with Willie the Wildcat, as one does, and as I was leaving, they slipped in a little purple paper that says, "We want you to be Willie the Wildcat. Email us at this address." Very secret society-esque vibes.
So did you email them?
I actually ended up not doing it because I was afraid of all the athleticism. I'm not the most athletic person, so I decided that was not going to be it for me.
Yeah, I had no idea how much commitment it took. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in to NNX.
Look out for our extended show coming soon.
And stay tuned for Northwestern News Report and PolitiCat coming up next.
I'm Diego Ramos.
And I'm Gabrielle Coriati. Good night.